Holy mother of crankbait, this movie stinks! Brr. Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Hyman Doover, and this is my review of Cherry Returns. Chris Chow wrote and directed Cherry Returns, so we know who to blame for the two worst aspects of this abject mess. Let me tell you about it. Cherry Returns ostensibly tells the story of a young woman freed from a decade-long abduction and the changes that her return has on her family. I actually and honestly enjoyed the start of the movie. It was interesting, engaging, and set out what I thought was a very interesting premise. Lots of movies do this. Unfortunately, a lot of movies also end up either abandoning the original premise altogether or f***ing it up so badly that I end up getting angrier than I would have if the movie just sucked from jump. One problem I have with psychological thrillers, especially if they seem like they were written by a sea cucumber with a head injury, is the glaring lapses in even the most basic intelligence. The protagonist, Cherry, is played by Cherry Ngan. Hey, while we're here, let me just say that being too f***ing lazy to think up a different name for characters in a script you obviously wrote with certain actors in mind makes it that much harder to engage with the story. Imagine if Tomb Raider was a franchise about a woman named Angelina Croft. Go f*** your mother. Jesus, where were we? Oh yeah. Cherry, the character, has spent a decade in captivity in Los Angeles. Her captors aren't Chinese, they're crackheads. That's what the subtitles call them. And yet, somehow, as soon as she gets back to Hong Kong, she can still speak Cantonese without a problem. It's such a glaring anomaly that I was quite frankly shocked that it took all the other characters in the movie most of the running time to kind of, stumble on that nugget. But speaking of brain injuries, I've had a lot of MRIs done on various parts of me because I'm accident prone. But you know something? I have never been strapped down to an MRI table. It just doesn't happen. But then again, I've never been in one of the shittiest movies in recent memory. But I'm grateful because at least that means I've also never been in a rotten, cheap flashback do-over that conveniently changes the story so all of a sudden it makes sense. Well, I'm sure that's what they'd hoped, anyway. I hoped I might enjoy this movie. But you know what they say, wish in one hand and Cherry Returns in the other. There's so much contrived, stilted, unbelievable, nonsensical garbage in this movie that it should be shown in a dumpster. It's not just that it's bad, it's jaw-droppingly, insultingly dumb on a level that I can only describe as offensive. In January of 2016, I watched Trevisa, which ended up being my favorite movie of the year, even after 11 months of competition. What a difference a year makes. It's only January of 2017, and I've already got a strong contender for the other end of the list. Somebody's gonna have to work really hard to wrestle this turd off the bottom. To be fair, I don't have any problem with Cherry Ngan's performance. She does the best that she can with that script, and she's actually very good in more than one scene. And I'm not just saying that because she has a tomboyish haircut for quite a lot of the movie. She is good most of the time in this film, and I think it's only fair to say that. Huga comes off as stilted and wooden, but that may just be a consequence of all the plastic surgery. Ooh, did I say that or just think it? Gordon Lamb is kind of underwhelming in his role, but that's the script's fault. I actually auditioned for a scene in this movie, and I'm glad I didn't get the part. The lines they had me read in the audition were in English, and I was supposed to say, according to the script, people don't want to be seen to be in cohorts with the police. I told the casting director, and I even wrote, and I said it should be in cahoots, because that makes sense in English, unlike in cohorts. Guess which one ended up in the movie? Like I said, I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't end up in cohorts with this piece of shit. This movie annoys me because, like a lot of films, it had the potential to be a lot better than it was, and I think it's the director's fault. I don't blame the actors. They probably didn't have a heck of a lot to work with that script, and they probably didn't get a whole lot of good direction. But what do I know about movies, right? But what's really irritating is that there were enough things in there, enough ideas, and enough actors, and enough budget, that this movie should have been quite a bit better. It is really astoundingly bad. Almost bad enough that I would say you should watch it just so you can go, holy shit. But I can't do that to you. I don't have that kind of conscience. That said, just because this movie stinks doesn't make it okay to steal it, so don't do it! I don't think this is going to stay in cinemas very long, but that's because there is a kind and loving God. That's not my point. If you don't see it in the cinema, wait till you can watch it on a plane, ideally. Or buy a Blu-ray or a DVD, because as much as it will hurt me to do so, when it gets released, I will update the description down below with a link where you could do just that. Don't steal it. Just don't. If you enjoyed this review, please let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If you like the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.